proportion increase over the years. Why sudden increase? Normally, normally this type of expenses and increase to pay off the money or to siphon out. Similar allocation has been done in the case of Prabhat Dairy also. So you can see the indicators better. Then comes accruals, not much movement here. And then last comes
Satya,
the
your voice,
leverage index.
your voice is getting feeble. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
Thank you.
And then comes leverage index. Again, you can see the leverage has increased in these years. Total assets to total liabilities, it has increased. Obviously, again an indicator as per Mr. Banish for the purpose of review. So you can see Banish is giving us some indicators that some variables looks like has been manipulated. And you also said in the beginning also either sales, profit or assets. So you can see in this case, you can see the assets. We can see the sales and we can see the margin. But margin was not much here, but the receivables. Right? So all the points at least you can see here. It is the forensic investigators for the further details. They have to drill down and come out whether there is something or not. That is their job because we don't have that data in our hand.
So basically, each of these parameters, I need to find out on that particular year which is more than 2.25. In case it is more than 2.25, I need to cover, or it's basically the overall equation need to be over
It's
2.25.
I normally suggest that it is always a cascading effect. If you can see here in 1 year the effect, obviously something will be there in this year also. The effect will be there. So carry forward will be there. And you can see 5,000, then 5,000 here also. If it is data's outstanding 5,000 crore, can you survive? At least your 70% of the business is outstanding. Right? Money. If you are not getting the money, how will you survive the continue the business? Either it is not receivable. So it is outstanding. Is it the same data which is outstanding over the years? That question will come.
Okay, but here I don't see 2.25. It's 1.27 to 1.68. So that is an indicator. Or this 271.
Just can I take 1 minute? I just got a one urgent call. I'll request.
Yeah. So in the meanwhile, I'll request people if they are if they can switch on their videos. It's not compulsory. It's appreciable because it encourages the speaker to understand that people are understanding, and it can be two-way interaction.
See, I have got one question here.
Just one sec. Satya is will be back, so we will once he's back, we'll just give the question to him.
No, not for him as such. In generally, like in the group, since he's on the phone.
Yeah.
See, in the 2018, the debtors and net receivables are increasing almost double. Right. Now, auditor also would not have seen this aspect. The thing is that, most of the time, whenever such frauds are coming, always the question comes that what the auditor has checked. So here, when such a glaring increase is there, and year after year, like, 18 also, 19 also, more than 5,000 crore. And even in 20, it is again going up by another 20%. So the debtors levels are going up so drastically, and how auditor would have satisfied himself?
Yeah, that should have been captured in the auditor's note, a deep analysis on this. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
The only thing I'll probably, and I have no idea of this specific case, but I might just come to the defense of an auditor to some extent purely from theory. As they always say, right, the auditor is not a bloodhound, he's a watchdog. A deep-rooted fraud will still not get picked up. So even if financial statements are audited, there is no guarantee that they are free of fraud. It is possible that they could be, and it may not have been detected despite genuine kind of procedures being adopted. So
yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying this shouldn't be questioned. Obviously, your question, Dushyant Bhai, is very valid. And I'm sure some procedures may have been adopted. But
Obviously.
it can typically be also kind of justified that the debtors, a lot of billings and a lot of revenues have been booked in the last month, and financial statements are prepared, say, a month later, and there isn't much time to ascertain if debtors have repaid, and hence the only option the auditor would have is to recognize that the sales did take place and whether the inventories did get depleted. If that's the case, beyond a point, additional procedures may be limited. Yeah, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
just bringing up the theoretical
I
aspect.
think I just
Yeah.
want to bring one more
Yeah.
point in the whole thing. See, we are, as you said, that sometimes March month is always very, basically heavily loaded with sales and all. So actually, to see this, we should also see 12 months of September results. So
Yeah.
September 18 and September 19 would, and if that logic also matches, then I think we can do some we can do some analysis.
Yeah,
Because
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
March
what
is always
actually
loaded.
I was suggesting that if you get a granular if you make a data series, like even if not 12 months, even if quarterly, then it will have a major impact, and you will see the graphical representation also. And
No, but your results are not out. No? The balance sheet doesn't come every quarter. But
no,
what you should do is 12 month ending September, like 12 months ending March is there. We should have a similar analysis, 12 months ending September. So then you will see whether the debtors are 5,000 crores or it's less,
no, but
or if
if you are doing audit of some company, of that company, you'll if you ask them, they will provide that. The data is there. You just need to find it. Either you take the help of IT person. Who can. Software person who can retrieve the data. That's what we do in the banks also. Or you can ask. So, and if you like the contract, actually, there in this while going through this case, Pharma. Mr. Satyaprakash was telling, and Mr. Aditya also asked that the contract, you need to see the supporting documents. Though
right,
the debtors, this receivables part has been changed, but whether actually they have gone that extent to change the contracts, no. So if you link that, then you will find the gap.
yeah,
So you need to find out the deeper. I just want to give one example here. One cooperative bank, what happened, they were giving loans to one particular group, real estate, right? But what they did, they changed the software package, that whenever the regulators or other people will ask, they will give that, okay, fine, instead of that 21,000 customers were been given the loan, right? But
okay,
how did they find? How did they find it out? Because when we got the whistleblower complaint, then we realized that, okay, fine, okay, fine. It's if they are giving the loan to 21,000 customers and the loan is against FD, so let us check the risk weight component, right?
right,
So they have forgotten to change that risk weight, because if you are giving a loan against FD, the risk weight will be zero.
right,
So, but they have given 100% because it's a real estate loan. So they themselves actually done the mistake. And even here also, if we don't, had we not received the whistleblower complaint, then we would not have gone to that small extent, right? So here, forensic audit is that. If you find out something, if this model, Bennis model is giving something indication, you have to drill down, like or else it's not. You if there is something raid, you have to drill down to any extent. You can ask for contracts, you can speak to the person who is the team. Out of five people, four of them are satisfied, right? One person will be the unhappy person. He can help you some way. So that's how, that's my experience.
Yes,
Okay, I
sir.
think
Correct points. I'll come back. Correct
So,
points.
Satya, just one second. Ashwini, do you have any question? You raise your hand. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a few questions.
Yeah. Go
Aditya
ahead.
and Satyaprakash, if you look at the data numbers, all these are year-end numbers as in 31st March for our country, right? So
Right.
that can be easily manipulated. मैं बोलूँगा कि मेरा सारा payment
Do you think,
31st.
sir, we all are chartered accountants? Do you think it can be easily manipulated?
So मैं बोलूंगा सामने वाले को
Nah, that's what. Be practical.
सर लेट मी कंप्लीट
I am. Yeah, ठीक है.
मैं बोलूंगा मेरा सारा पेमेंट सर आप 31 मार्च तक कंप्लीट कर देना, फिर मैं आपको 1 मार्च से, जैसे आई एम अ फाइनेंशियल एनालिस्ट, आई गो एंड मीट कंपनीज, सो आई हैव सीन इन द बैलेंस शीट क्रेडिटर्स, डेटर्स, फिर एडवांसेस एंड अदर्स दिखता है सर बहुत जगह बैलेंस शीट्स में.
क्यों ऐसा होता है सर? Why it is like that? You are an analyst. That's why I'm asking like a devil's advocate now.
So that is what I'm asking. What they do is,
Why it is done?
सर एक जगह से पेमेंट ले लिया, फिर उसी को एडवांसेस बोल के दिखा देते हैं उन लोग.
Sir, why it is done? Just to manipulate.
Just to manipulate.
Just to distort the correct picture. Why can't they show it just? Let me tell you one real example where they have shown it datas as well as one more line items and receivables. How is it datas? What is the difference between datas and receivables? This is there in the balance sheet signed by chartered accountant.
एक ही होता है सर दोनों.
So why they are showing two different line items?
वही तो बोल रहा हूँ. They're trying to manipulate. आप ये बोल रहे हो.
That's what, sir.
So
ठीक है sir.
वहाँ पर receivables कम दिखा देंगे and advances and others दिखा देते हैं वहाँ पे.
Right, sir.
So how do we tackle that?
Sir, that is what. I'm coming to the second portion. This is the one part which you have seen through the Benish model, that it is highlighting some of the areas. But being chartered accountant, I normally suggest to always use a skeptical mind for the purpose of analysis, which we are going to do in next 2 minutes. And yes, sir. Your second question.
दूसरे में था net sales by a cost of goods sold. Many people do it कि cost of goods sold का cost of goods है वो नीचे other item में दिखा देते हैं, कहीं पे और दिखा देते हैं.
Yes, sir. But in the Benish it is captured, sir. Just for information, I'm showing you here. You can see the cost of goods sold. This is just summary of the other costs, foreign fuel, employee cost, and other cost. So I'm considering that also.
Okay.
So that portion is covered, sir. That is what I have just enlarged this. Earlier model is small. You can see this is only the cost of goods sold, this much.
Okay.
But what are the items to be considered in the cost of goods sold, which I have just tried to cover?
This is basically your EBITDA or operating profit, which you have captured.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
So this was initially the hints given by the, or you can say red flags given by the Benish model. What exactly how a chartered accountant is going to read the numbers. So for your reference, I am showing you the screen here. I hope the screen is visible now.
Yeah, it is.
Now looking at this data, how you are going to read the numbers. Can you try to find out some issues in the numbers? Come on. Now forget Benish. Just looking at these numbers. Shall I reduce the size so you can have a better view, overall view? Yeah. So, can you see the numbers now? Can you try to find out some issues? My focus again is from 2015 to 18. I'll keep my focus till 4 years only. 15 to 18.
सर 15 में कुछ एक्विजिशन किया है, सेल्स अचानक से बढ़ गया.
Yes, एक मर्जर है, इसलिए तो 15 के पहले का नहीं जा रहा सर मैं.
2018 there is inventory also increasing and debtors also increasing.
Correct. Sahi point, sir. Perfect point, sir. This is what I wanted to tell the people to understand. Now you can see sales. The moment is almost same, sir. In 4 years, only 100 crores, you can say 1,000 crore movement, right? But here, look at the debtors. Debtors, huge movement. And also, there is a, let me color it out. And also, can you see the inventory?
ये सर फिर भी के हिसाब से डिटेल्स जाएंगे सारी. फिर ये एज पर बुक्स है. मैंने जो दिखाया ना,
appreciate if you can keep yourself on
जो है वो तुम्हारा काम नहीं है. तुम्हारा काम सिर्फ ये करके देना है 3B बस. पहले का जो है वो मैं ऑडिट कर रहा हूँ.
Now you can see.
और फिर डिफरेंस वगैरह देख करके.
Now what is the question? I hope now the picture is better clear.
डिफरेंस नहीं आना चाहिए कुछ भी.
In case you are not speaking, please keep yourself on mute. The speaker get disturbed. Thank you.
Thank you. Now you can see the picture here. Sorry. the sales, the movement in the sales. Now I'm just thinking if this much inventory is also there, so how much is this? When whatever sold, is it the inventory outstanding? So out of 8,000, so whatever, how much is the raw material consumed? 2,000. Raw material also, please focus at this point also.
So there's a
Or
drop in the raw material, but that is backed by the decline in the turnover also.
so you
So
can see
like
the
unless
hence
we have a
the biggest
percentage
point comes.
analysis, we
Yes.
won't be able to know that what exactly
So
is
the
the
top line
change.
is growing, but raw material cost is declining.
Yes. So I'm just thinking if it is raw material is reducing, raw material let it constant. I'm thinking if raw material is this much only, and if the inventory is this much, then what is sold? And if what is sold, then what is outstanding?
So you get
तो इसमें ना
inventory
क्लास थ्री
period.
बोर्ड यूपीएससी अभी बनवाई
And that is why other cost becomes
शरद को
very
पता
much
होगा कहाँ
important
रखा है
point.
उसने शरद को पूछ लो
Rajesh,
ठीक है ना हाँ
if
तो
you,
क्लास टू की है क्लास थ्री की है मुझे लगवानी है
Rajesh,
क्लास टू की यहाँ की
do you have any question, Rajesh? Yeah, go ahead, Satya.
So you can see here, I'm going from the starting. So what for making any product, I need a raw material. So this much is the raw material. We know that closing plus opening, closing plus additions minus sales is the closing stock. Simple logic. We all know. So what is this? So inventory. How much is the addition? 2000. So 4,000 crore. And then how much? 2,000 again out inventory. So only 2,000 sold at 7,000. Or that is the picture.
Satyaprakash, this inventory might include both raw material inventory and finished goods. तो उसका accounting अलग अलग
Possible.
होगा.
Possible. But again, I'm just thinking from this perspective, then what is sold? If I reduce this, assuming that only 50% is the finished goods, still the volume is huge.
So can we say that this is a fictitious sale?
Not exactly, sir, but I suggest because unless because while reading a book, I just read in legal terms, we should not say something unless you know the numbers correctly. So you can say that we have a suspicion is there. Unless we get the data, backup data, we should not say the words, which is wrong.
But if we are dealing such public data, the only presumption we can have then is that this data is being audited, and then we have to believe it. Is it?
Yeah, obviously. But while making the investment decisions, you have to rely on your own feelings also because all the investments are subject to market
Right.
risk.
So the commission to sell as selling agents has also come
Yes.
down. I mean,
Yeah.
so I mean,
Now you can see the moment. If the sales, so you can see commissions is also was almost same
same
tandem
and
with
come
the
down also from 17 to 18. So when you are
yes.
saying
Sales is increasing, normally
yeah.
commission will increase, but it is not. The same way, you can see a good look at the employee cost, power and fuel. If your sales are increasing, obviously your fuel will increase. Your raw material cost normally with the time lag, the cost will increase,
So
right?
what is the right way if we if a suspicion arises in terms
Then
of
you have to ask for the data, sir. Normally, that is what Deborah sir already said. You have to ask for granular data for the purpose of further review.
So we need to contact the investor relation team only. That if you can just explain us, we are investor.
Probably they will not give you the granular data.
Otherwise, there is no other channel. I'm just trying to think in terms of a solution if we come across any such data point, because we are doing a very kind of far analysis. We are not even very close to the reality of this number.
100%, sir. The
Like,
only people.
I guess the tricky point is obviously as an ordinary investor, there's only limited you can do other than stay away if you see warning signs.
Yeah, I agree.
It's only if you are a kind of more closer to the company, like having a significant interest or have a kind of interest beyond a normal retail investor, then you can ask for information and you would have the muscle power to get it as well. Otherwise, as an ordinary investor, it's best to stay away.
Nobody will
And these increases, etc. I mean, the company can, as an investor, very well give you all kinds of reasons, like increase in price of your drug, or selling price, which kind of increases all this, whereas expenses have remained flat. All kinds of reasons could be devised, and you have no option but to rely on that.
Just for information, I hope many people are aware about this. Every drug which is sold, that is either has at least 80 to 90% profit.
Yeah.
Because one hospital for which I have got an opportunity to review, they procure each means medicine, each medicine they will not procure unless there is a 40 to 50% margin. So if a hospital gets that much margin on the medicine, all those medicines, and it's a big hospital of Mumbai. That's
The
a
reason behind why I ask this, because whenever we start looking at numbers, we certainly pause at least one or two numbers every time. Even a normal analysis, if we see something on a portal, we start thinking that how this can be, and then we drop the discussion, we change the company, we start looking at other stock. So this is how it actually goes.
That's what.
Yeah,
So
it's
hopefully, let's see.
true. It's true actually how much is there on your plate. So if a number of companies you are auditing at the same time, then you may not focus on that properly. So if you are focusing on one company or two companies, then you can actually drill down. So that's the point. And this model is basically, the objective is the same thing. I mean, if you get something red, then you will drill down. So that really reduces your time, or the effort. So
Correct.
Satyaji,
Basically, focus area. The objective is the focus area.
Satyaji, is there any portal which does these types of analysis, automate it, and present on monthly basis?
I think not seen, sir, but yes, I think some will be there, sir.
If I have to see whether any company has a score around 255, maybe beyond, or whatever is the present score generated by this model. Although this is a statistical and it does not mean that red flags necessarily will exist, but I can
This
say
can't,
that,
sir, let me tell you, sir, this model can be created very easily by anybody within 5 minutes.
yeah, but data input and checking every time.
This is sir, frankly speaking, you can see this data is simply copy pasted from moneycontrol.com. If it is
Yeah.
a listed company, data is available.
I think
I
you
simply
should do
copy
this
pasted, and
money
this.
control also, so that they can build in their dashboard.
Yeah, obviously they can do it very easily for everyone, sir. That, sir, important aspect is not the ratios. Important aspect is how you read those ratios.
Right. Thanks.
Numbers are there for everyone, but how people read those numbers, that makes a big difference. Let me give you one more example, which recently I came about to know. One chartered accountant, just obviously this is off track. One chartered accountant gave the network certificate, this network certificate for a company. The valuations, this property and all, one page they have given. 15, 30 crores they have given. The forensic auditor asked for the details. What is the granular data? Means you said property is 10 crores. What is the details of the property? The CA has simply said that I don't have any data of that. I have returned everything to the company. Is it the correct answer from the chartered accountant's perspective? Ideally, we have to keep the data ready, means backup papers with us. Right? Can a CA can say this, that they don't have any data, backup data? This is what something happens in case of audits also. If you ask for granular data, they will say, sir, we don't have anything. And that is the picture, that is bloodhound or a watchdog. Right, sir? And similarly, sir, you can see creditors also. The movement in the creditors. It is also increasing compared to your raw material. So you can see at one point of time your creditors are more than your raw material purchased. So are they paid properly? So some points which we need to review from the investigation perspective. for a better picture. And you can see cash from operations every year in negative, negative, negative. Again, it is a good indicator. Right, sir? Hello.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Chaliye. I am taking to another example.
So do you have any kind of analysis on this company which can like has been the output of the forensic audit which has been triggered?
No, sir. I have not done. Luckily, I have not entered in that in this company.
No, basically these are the indicators which ask us to do further due diligence on these companies, but that due
Right.
diligence, whether had been any outcome of it, is something.
Similar things we have done in the past in various companies in our forensic audit, sir. Because normally what I do, sir, I normally variables. We all know that these are just an indicators. So this helps me to frame my questions to starting from questions. Let it be any company, listed, unlisted, doesn't matter. Second, we read the numbers. Practically, we read the numbers and try to correlate the numbers because we all know ratios will speak better. So once you correlate them with the other numbers, then you can ask better questions and frame your questions. So that will be first part, because just looking, when you start a forensic audit, it will not happen that they will give you all the data upfront. So you have to first ask for raw data. Meanwhile, you can prepare your questions and you can ask them, put in front of the management. Then they will understand, are you able to read the numbers properly? If you are able to read the numbers properly, then they will carefully share the numbers with you, their data obviously, and accordingly you have to plan your audits. That is the first portion, just from the audited financial statements, because financial statements will give you only this much area, sir.
Okay.
Second portion that comes with, if you get a granular data, then you can go for sample audits. That is using the Benford law. That is the second portion. That is I have covered in the PPT. That is the Benford law. Basically, transactional data. It reviews the transactional data based on the numbers occurrences. And the third is the money trail. If you get all the bank statements, then you can try to prepare the money trail for the transactions. I have just kept some slides for that. How you can try to see the money trails, different scenarios. And let me tell you, all these are real scenarios. And this is one of the best scenario. So this ultimately the main objective is this money trail. Because if you just say that number has been it is high, it is low, it is not that much effective unless you support that with some real investigation and fund flow. So unless you tell them where the money is moving, who are the ultimate beneficiaries, that is the money trail, nobody is going, means your case is not that much strong.
So do you call this as a money laundering?
You can say this way. But
Satya, I think you have mute yours.
the host has muted, yeah. Not exactly money laundering, but the objective is basically the manipulation. This is the best example. You can see company A has given 4 crores on 31st July, yeah? Because one person asked this question, month end, quarter end, year end. 31st July, they paid to HDFC Bank account of B, company B. Company B transferred money to C. Obviously, I don't have bank statement for company A as well as company C. But luckily, I had the bank statement of company DE. And I saw on the same day, another 4 crore has come from company C to company D. From company D, the same money has gone to company E. And then again, it reaches back to company B, but in another account, not in the same bank account. In another bank account, that is Axis Bank. And then it has been transferred, repaid to company A. So what ultimately has done in this case? Can anybody guess what has happened here? Why this kind of transaction has been done? Really difficult, right? Can you wild guess?
डेटर क्रेडिटर दोनों काम कर दिया.
सर पैसा सेटल कर दिया ना अल्टीमेटली. ए से लिया ए को वापस कर दिया.
क्रेडिटर दोनों काम कर दिया.
यस सर. तो फिर किया क्यों?
सर डेटर भी खुद का था, क्रेडिटर भी खुद का था.
सर तो किया क्यों? क्वेश्चन ये है कि why they did this stuff. This is what the ultimately toughest task.
क्लोजिंग पोजीशन क्लियर दिखाने के लिए.
इसका तो पोजीशन क्लियर ही था ना सर.
To increase sales.
ये no one knows money कहाँ से generate हुआ.
मनी जनरेट ही नहीं हुआ ना सर.
तो
मनी मूव किया डिफरेंट सोर्सेज से.
सर इसका बैकग्राउंड आपको दे देता हूँ सर. दिस इज वन ऑफ द अगेन बिग कंपनी ऑफ इंडिया.
So it's a shell company transaction which has been done.
Yes. Basically, earlier the money was paid to this company. It was outstanding, so it was paid. Means earlier it was other way around. Original routing was like this. Now at the month end, basically to close the accounts. So what they have done, retransferred the funds. So basically these are basically the closing entries. Earlier there was opening.
So earlier this used to happen with one bank only. Now since with the RTGS thing, it is happening with two banks.
Yes. So system has improved, no sir. So
people are taking benefit of it.
Yes.
Why on? On the same date. I mean, that's what. Had it been a different date?
You can see it can be a different date also, sir. It is not necessary.
I can change the amount also.
Yeah, 100%. You can say 16 crores were transferred and amount are original. Huh? Let me tell you one thing. I have not manipulated the amount. I have manipulated the date and the name. Amount is original. 16 crores transferred to another company, same company's another account from their related party transactions, same day, and next day to another bank again. So you can see another bank and then it has transferred to customers. Right? So this is what in the money trail also we have to see. So ultimate objective of any forensic auditor is the beneficiary. If you are not able to find out the real beneficiaries, people will question. Means the conclusion will be difficult for anybody.
But can you tell me the reason why they have done this?
Which one, sir?
Why they are moving it from one company, one bank to another bank, and from this thing to the ultimate payment?
Just to hide the hide the true nature, sir. Let me tell you this part. To hide the true nature, because luckily I had the entire data. But I don't think even the forensic auditor, who is still doing this investigation, he will be having this entire data.
So basically you are trying to say that
even though it is
C may be your creditor and E may be your debtor.
Yes, sir. Basically earlier what the company has done, sir, they got this good money.
In related party, the transaction is done due to the increase of sales.
Yeah.
Okay, and thereafter they can take the money from the banks in the form of the loans. Okay, and thereafter this transaction is done to settle the transactions. This adjustment may be there.
Girish sir, justifications will come nature to person. It may vary from person to person. Practically speaking, because all are intelligent people. So they will give the justifications as per the other person who is asking. Let me tell you one simple example, sir, from my own experience. One person is there who can confirm this. In one forensic audit, sir, it was a listed company. In our report, we simply mentioned, sir, you have not maintained books of accounts. Listed company. And they have not denied this fact.
So the books of accounts were not prepared at all.
I said simply bluntly, I said this, sir.
Okay, so it's like basically that Excel sheet format has been used.
I wanted to test the waters.
Okay, so basically it was to break the ice and start the discussion. You're talking about.
Sir, I wanted to conclude whether that company is actually manipulating or not. Sir, I was.
So what had been the outcome?
Sir, it was a manipulation.
Okay, but it was not definitely that there were no books of accounts. It was.
Sir, they are not sharing at all. No cooperation.
Yeah, that's.
That is what we have to do, sir. That is why unless you do this money trail, people will not come on the table, sir. Even though you read all the balance sheet, even though you come out with the transactions, but unless you find out the real beneficiaries, people will not come down and tell you the truth.
So here, can you then give the final motives to be in all the three samples?
Sir, in this first sample, it was not exactly the motive, sir. Basically, to take out the money of this, it was a small transaction to take out the money from the company. They could have. My simple question is, if they wanted to genuine course was there, sir, they could have done it from the first itself, first bank itself. Why they are
Right.
routing through fund to second, second to third, and then to the related party?
Correct.
If it is a genuine transaction, do it directly and make it a record of that.
Yeah, something fishy naturally because they
Yes,
were.
obviously, this itself shows it is there is something fishy, and you are creating so much layers. What is the objective of creating a layer?
Yeah. And what
That
about
is the
sample two?
same thing, sir. Same objective. Here, though, they have done blatantly. Yes, I can do it. Nobody is asking me. So, 1 to 2, and then taken out. But to customer, then why they are paying customer to from the third account? Again, same question. If it is a normal business, they could have, unless there is a direct business obligation that you have to pay it from one single account only, means from BOI only, then obviously you can do it.
But then what was
Otherwise,
their
why
explanation?
to, yes, why
Yeah.
routing from these accounts? They could have
Yeah. So
directly
what was?
transferred to this.
Yeah. What was their explanation?
Sir, it was a business dealings, sir, not thought from that perspective.
Okay. Simple.
Simple, sir. Explanation can come as innocent, sir.
Yeah.
Here you
Third.
can see third scenario is very much interesting, sir. In this scenario, there is no, basically they have simply paid because A and C are unknown, unrelated parties. So
Yeah.
I don't have the bank data for A as well as C. I will say that I have means I have received the money, so he is my creditor. Means he is my customer. I have paid the money to C. He is my creditor. I have
Yeah.
purchased it. So that's what my business dealing job done. But luckily, I had the other three bank accounts of D, E, and B. I came to know that no, it is not that. It is a circular transaction which you have done to rotate the funds. For a normal person, it will be a simple line that I have received. So my customer paid my creditor.
But this could be the follow-up transaction of earlier such similar circular transaction.
Yes, 100%. It is that. It is
A
that, sir.
reversal. It could be a reversal of an earlier transaction.
Yes. And sir, this
Yeah.
is a small amount which I am saying. It's there are 6 transactions of around 250 crores each.
Yeah, and this kind of transactions, this deep-rooted, as I was trying to say, will not be possible for an statutory auditor also to unearth. It's
Not
just not
possible.
possible without the evidence.
Sir, I can say I already said that. Literally, I will say that he is my customer. He is my creditor. I received. I paid. What is the issue? No issue. I got the money. I immediately paid. It is our business practice. Such explanation will come, sir. That is there. Only thing is that unless you drill, you will not come to know this. You will not come to know this and this.
But I must say that they are quite efficient. Sample 3.
You can say, sir. Right?
Hi everyone, Veena here. I would like to share my experience. I have worked for a mutual fund and I was too junior that time. I was freshly qualified CA and I was too junior. But I have seen the fraud happening in front of my eyes. What had happened was the mutual fund money was taken out to some of the group companies and the amount was routed to some other group companies and part of the amount was taken back into the mutual fund just to show that the some bad investments were there of those mutual funds. So that amount has been the amount was shown as received from against those bad investments. So that was one motive. And second was to fund the other group companies. That was another motive. So there were various routings done. So that amount was taken out from mutual fund and it was utilized for those particular motives. Thank you.
So you can see there are so many things which we have already have some experience about this. So routings will be there. It's how much you can drill down. That will again depends on how much
Yeah.
data is in your hand.
Yeah, actually, I'd like to add something. See, this round tripping is done actually, and we actually in our inspections also we usually find it out that round tripping, that too, for some kind of NPA, for on the 89th day or 90th day. So to avoid that, you come up with the money. But the sample three, actually, I'm really, inquisitive to know. It's not on the same date. They are transfer. They are just it's like A to B, B to C, C to D, D to E, and the same day, the same money. It's there is no reduction or no addition of money. And so, what is their objective? If you can just little bit explain that what they have come up with any particular answer, or if you get something that this is something fishy, definitely.
Sir, we will discuss separately.
Okay, fine.
Sir, I have got a question.
So, because sir, let me tell you one thing, sir. Did some things we cannot discuss in the forum. Sir, yes, Dinesh sir.
Sir, can I speak? Can I speak now?
Yes, sir, please.
Sir, I would like to know, there are so many companies who invest in mutual funds of so many, so many mutual funds. Like if you see Aditya Birla Group, they invest in some mutual funds. Now, those mutual funds again reinvest in some other companies of Birla Group companies. It's rerouted another way. Now, this type of investigation must take place. I think I am asking these questions in the AGM every year, that you invest in mutual funds, and if you see the balance sheet of investments, they exit some mutual fund and invest in some other mutual fund, and that same mutual fund through some other scheme invest in some other company of that same company. See this circular trading, how to investigate properly.
Vinak, I would like to put some light on this, because you are from mutual fund industry. So,
because in foreign countries, what happens, sir? The basically the operational part is shown separately, and the investment part is shown separately. Here we mix up everything, so it's very difficult, to get a trail of all these things. Everything is mixed and merged in India.
I'm sorry, I missed your question. I was not that attentive.
What happens is, I'll tell you, if you open a balance sheet, there are investments. Now, investments are made in mutual funds. Now, those mutual funds reroute the same fund to the other group company of the same group, which is invested, the investee company. They invest, the same mutual funds invest in some other scheme. They take in one scheme, invest in another scheme, in some other, they buy shares. If you see the portfolio of the mutual fund, you will find that. So there is a mix-up. And that constitutes, according to me, in some companies, that investment constitutes nearly 40% or 50% of the capital employed. So huge chunk. And the other income is not in line with the investment which we make. Now this circular trading goes on. A invests in B mutual fund, B mutual fund gives it to B A mutual fund, B C mutual fund, B C mutual fund invests in again A group companies of some other name. Like Aditya Birla invests in some mutual fund. Now they invest in Hindalco. They invest in Ultratech that way. They have got shares of in the Hindalco. They have got shares of Ultratech. So this setting is done. I will invest from my surplus cash company to in your mutual fund. You invest in our other companies. Now this setting is done. Now how to investigate and how to find out all the trails of all this? Very difficult.
Sir, Veena, we'd like to put something light on this.
See, one way could be to go into the basic prime books of entries. For example, like the basic bank statements, what is appearing in bank statements and what entries are passed. So we could find out from. Sorry, I'm not audible.
No, you are. Continue.
Yeah. So we could go into basic prime books of entries. So what is appearing in bank statement and what is actually entered in the books. So that's what is my experience, that we used to have some entries in bank statement, whereas the amount is shown as received from some other company. in the books of entries. In the books. So some different entries were passed. So amount is received from X party and amount is shown as received from Y party. So something like that is done.
Vinaji, I'll take it to other way.
Yeah.
Dinesh, to answer your question, I'll take your question to other way. Sir, why we are doing? Why they do this? Ultimately, you support me, I will support you. That is the objective. I cannot invest directly in my company because that will be some red flag for somebody, some regulator. You are promoting your own companies. So I will invest in your company, you invest in my company. That's what, sir. That is a simple philosophy. So
only
ultimately,
regulator can do in it, because even if
right,
it's
sir, right. Only the regulator, the boss can do this. Else, normal public, you cannot do anything. Even though you ask a question or try to become some whistleblower, output will be zero because legally it is allowed.
Yes, very correct. In the sense, we
That's
could
what.
find out from, since I was working for that company, I could know about it. But as an outsider, somebody would not know about it. And it's very difficult to find out also.
Aditya wants to say something on this.
No, it's okay. Yeah, go ahead.
So even if we know it, we can't do anything of it.
Practically, sir, you can do everything, but practically no effect will happen.
Okay.
So can
Will
we
it
be a
be captured
whistleblower to
in
any place?
Will it be captured in related party disclosures?
No, they are not related party, no.
But under Ind AS, the related party or this definition is very wide. If you have control or
Still they are not related party. No, Aditya Birla and
okay,
Reliance both are two different companies. They are not related party.
okay.
There are so many loopholes also. So, I mean, management takes care of those loopholes. Take care of these things, and those loopholes they find out, and they try to avoid such transactions through such companies which are officially related parties.
See, I mean, this mutual funds, they come up with a mandate, right? So I'll invest this money, your money on this, suppose mid cap or small cap or this thing. And suppose I mean, I'm just giving you one way of, I'm not into that industry. Suppose it's a blue chip, I mean, the mutual funds objective is to, invest in the blue chip companies. So now if you have to, as an auditor, you can see that, okay, fine. I mean, this is, though this company is a a sister company of that mutual fund, but it's not a blue chip company. So why these particular mutual fund who has collected the money from the public to invest in blue chip companies, but he has not that mutual fund has not invested in that blue chip company, instead of invested in the sister company. So that can be a catch point. But otherwise, if it's a, suppose SBI blue chip company, or I mean, suppose a SDFC blue chip mutual fund, it's about blue chip. Whether it is investing in Infosys or in Reliance, right? Both of them are blue chip companies. So there is no point. You cannot find it out. I mean, you cannot raise a finger that okay, why he has invested in Reliance, not Infosys. Okay. So
Yeah, actually that is what, when the mutual fund makes investment into any company through any fund, then that fund has some investment philosophy. So one auditor has to see that whether the investment is within that their framework.
Hello.
Yeah, that's what I said. I mean, that's the objective. You need to, the bottom line, you need to check whether it is a small cap or mid cap, and how, where the money has gone. That's all. I mean, or else, if it is under that mandate, then you cannot raise a finger. Like suppose I give the example, SDFC and sorry, Infosys and Reliance are both the blue chip company. Now, whether it is I am a mutual fund and whether I am investing in Reliance or SDFC Bank, so it's my call. And if I am, suppose I am handing gloves with Reliance, and suppose I am giving that money Reliance invested in Reliance, so that that money can be utilized further. That is none of my business. I mean, I'm not into that. I mean, what he is doing with that, I mean, that money.
So
Hello. I don't think this is possible. I'll tell you why. Basically, because even if whatever the fund is, they say that they proclaim that they will be investing in the blue chip or the mid cap or small cap or whatever. All this thing is the prime investment would be in this thing. So around 50% or maybe 30% or 40% will be in that prime prime category which they have been announced. But rest of the funds they can invest anywhere. So they always have that this thing leeway for all this jugglery.
Yeah, very correct. There are some percentages prescribed. So those percentages are scrupulously being followed, but the still funds are available for manipulative purposes, which is covered in the balance percentage.
Yeah, that's why SEBI came out with this recent guidelines that about this mid cap. I mean, I don't recall the exact this thing, but they have to statistically mention. Otherwise, they were playing with this mid cap and small cap definition. So recent guidelines from SEBI are just to address that problem.
Okay. So Lokesh, you have any question? You raise your hand.
Hello. Yeah,
Yeah,
hi,
Lokesh.
hi, Satyaprakash ji. Great presentation. Just a question on the M score, the Benish model, which you explained. In your experience or in your readings, what is the accuracy or the success of this model? Getting you closer to a success rate of a doubt in a company, or
It is, sir. Till now, it is at least 90% successful.
Oh wow, that's 90% successful.
Yes, sir.
So in an overview, when you look at the variables in this model, and if this model is highlighting that there is something suspicious, you can be 90% confident that there is something.
Obviously, sir. Yes, but only thing is
Yes.
that you have to consider the limitation in the mind.
Sure. No, so where I'm coming from is I'm a financial investor. So for us, it's either yes or no. Maybe is a very gray area which we cannot really afford. That's where I'm coming from, and that's why I just wanted to understand what was the accuracy of this model.
Only thing is that you have to just read the numbers carefully and to get as much support as possible. That's what I can suggest.
Sure.
Because just looking at the numbers, it's really difficult to confirm that it is 100% or no. But yes, chances are that number is something is wrong is there. Otherwise, number will not be that way. You can, in this case also, we have seen this in Sun Pharma case. You can see inventory as well as the debtors and compare with sales and raw material consumed. You can see the difference. It's glaring. So obviously, company will be having some explanation.
Right. And just to make a small contribution from my end and for everyone's knowledge, I just want to share my experience with this company called Quality Limited. In particular, what I want to share is that we should not really be trusting, even when when reputed companies have either prepared a strategic plan for companies that we are investigating, or private equity has shown a confidence in investing in structured products for companies that we are investing. I think investors would have made a really big mistake by trusting the accounts of Quality Limited on the back of one of the big four approving their strategic plan, and one of the private equity investors investing in their structured products. So
let me give you one simple example, sir.
Sure.
In India's one of the biggest I will say, the builder. His books were audited by Big Four. Right? And just before the fraud, means says till 2016, it was 2014, it was audited by Big Four. In 2015, it was audited by last four.
Okay.
And in that year, the fraud was detected.
Correct. So same.
So is it the same? Is it the same thing that fraud has happened in 2015?
Yeah.
Or it was happening since years?
So what happened was the private equity investor invested in the structured product, and in the next year you had an entry in loans and advances saying advances to suppliers of the amount more or less equivalent to what the private equity investor invested. Surprisingly, this is a company, it's a dairy based business wherein your suppliers are your farmers. The rationale given for these advance to suppliers of such a huge amount was these people have contracted supplies up to, so this was in 2018, and they said that we have contracted supplies for the next 3 years. So we are paying in advance. So it's a model where you pay a farmer every day and you take the milk. They are saying that we have paid advance of some hundreds of crores to suppliers for the next 3 years. We book sales. So
practically not possible.
Yeah. So what I just wanted to highlight was not to trust, even if there are big companies who have either prepared a strategic plan or invested. Just to maybe one of the models that you've highlighted, like the Banish model, it's very helpful. And if you and you're saying that the accuracy is good, so I think that it is better to rely on things rather than the confidence of the investors.
So Satya, is there any other model which we can rely on, or is it compulsory that we need to? So there are two questions basically. The other one is basically, is it compulsory to use this model whenever you are doing a forensic audit?
No, I will not suggest that.
Okay.
To start with, for any forensic audit, I'll suggest this you can use as a starter, but ultimately you have to rely on your own skeptical mind. Basically, your chartered accountant skills.
And
read the numbers carefully.
And is there any other model which people can rely on? Which
yes, 2-3 more are there. You can Google that, similar to Banish, but this is the more easy and simplest one which you can use it.
Okay.
Satya, I have one question. Since all of us are not only professionals, some of them are practicing chartered accountants also. So just wanted to know how this if you look at the banks, PSU banks, I think a lot of their investors or investee companies are wherever they have given money, I think there might be such kind of issues. So definitely there must be they also must be directing these companies to do forensic audit. So how you get the mandate for I'm this is for the benefit of the practicing chartered, because all of us need to earn also out of such kind of products. So how you get to know about the forensic, what are the time and cost analysis? So how much time you spend and how much normally people charge for a single mandate? An
it's all
average
again
mandate.
depends company to company. It will be.
Yeah.
Basically, how they appoint. Basically, empanelment process is there. So they will select the company from the firm from that empanelment, and you have to quote. Now the L1 is creating a big trouble for forensic also, because the quality of the output report is very much no comment on that. So you can understand that.
True.
So simple rule: garbage in, garbage out.
But how much time you take and how many people are involved? Normally, say on a 1,000.
It again depends
on
depends on the size of the company. If it is a smaller size, three people are sufficient.
Okay.
Larger
say
size.
from your experience, say some of your name without giving names. What kind of people you have involved? How many people? What qualifications?
We are a team of 6 people, sir. Let me tell you, 6 people. 3 chartered accountants, 1 system audit experts, and 2 are basically one is the data entry person and 1 is the IT person who does all the back-end activity for us.
Right.
So like that, we do this process. So it becomes easy. So the roles are divided.
Okay.
So and the task which is, let me tell you, our process, like other firms, we do each work is done by a separate person, and that is monitored by some other person.
Okay.
So no one is going to. You don't know. Kind of. Yes. No one. A what is he's doing. A don't know what B is doing.
Right.
And that is all controlled by D.
Right.
That is what. So means confidentiality and other things are maintained. So that's how we normally do. Like we say in the big case of Big Fours.
Yeah, I think Big Four have got that assurance business similar to that.
Sir. So personally, TK sir, they are good people.
Yeah, Satyaprakash, I have one question. See, normally, if you are getting some, direction from, I mean, suppose a regulated entity has been directed by a regulator that you have to come up with this forensic audit. Okay.
Sir.
Now they are approaching you. That's okay, fine. If a company itself is approaching you, then what are the objectives actually they give you? Like, suppose
This is the case of this is sir. This scenario I got only because the company gave me the assignment. Sample 3, I got only because the company gave me the assignment. So I got broader picture than any other person. So basically, they wanted to prepare themselves for the report against the regulator, who are investigating outside.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Thanks.
So basically, they wanted to know their own lacunas.
Achha.
So how to defend themselves.
Okay, it's the other way around.
Right, sir. So it's all up to them how they want to do the acting.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah. So Aditya ji, I'll rest the session for you. Please take it forward, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Satya. This was really great. And in fact, we really got an understanding on the indicators. So like a lot of people actually contributed from their experience, thanks to them also. And it was really good thing. Just one question I have, like there are people asking for your PPT or Excel sheet, what you have created for the burnish model. Is it okay for you to share with them, or
no issue? PPT I can share.
Yeah.
PPT, there is no issue. Even the model also I will share with them.
Yeah. Okay.
But only thing is that the data is from general public domain, so you can input your data and review.
And as you mentioned that this is basically a very simple formula, they can create the spreadsheet by themselves.
100%. Yes.
Yeah.
And just for one balance sheet, can I show you, Prabhat Dairy? Just
go ahead.
I just want to show you the balance sheet for the people's knowledge, because I'm not able to understand what they have done. No, personally, I don't know how. Let me show you this model first. Then, obviously, I'm not an expert in all.
Yeah, that's perfect. That is the motive of this forum, that we can always come and have so many other people.
Yeah,
who
you can see here
share
the
their views.
sales. Just look at the sales. The figures in 2018-19 is like this. This is Prabhat Dairy. Sales till 2017 and 18-19. I don't know what went wrong. No issue. Because I don't trust. I may make a mistake. Money control can make a mistake. So that is why I went to the company annual report. Let's go to 2019.
It looks like that bird flu happened and your entire turnover has gone down.
Yeah, something of that sort. That's what I was just to understand. Let more people put some light on that.
Because I could see the turnover started going up from 2020, I think.
Let me show you the turnover itself, profit and loss, standalone. You can see amount in lakhs. So it is 71 crores, 27 crores. Right? Amount in lakhs, 18, 19, 27, 27, 71. Perfect. No issue. And now I'm going to 2017. Again, Prabhat Dairy. Again, Big Four, no?
Actually, when did they come up with this IPO? At the listed company?
Yeah, you can see statement of profit and loss, 2017, amount in lakhs, and you can see revenue from operations.
Hello, I think they might have sold some division, major portion.
They have sold in April 2019, sir.
Okay.
That's what
So
I
they
was also thinking. They might have sold something, and that is why I searched some news. You can see in April, August, there was news of 1,700 business they have sold, but this was done in April 2019.
Satyaprakash, when did they come up with this IPO?
Not checked, sir.
I think
Okay.
around 3 years back.
3 years
Yeah,
back,
yeah.
probably.
So normally, I mean that's I mean somebody.
I was just thinking what might have gone wrong here. Means you can see the numbers as per the annual report itself. You can see in 2017 how much it is. 16, 17,
So
all again this is
Satya,
amount in lakhs.
what happens generally, I've seen that what happens that when in 2019 they have sold off one portion of their division,
Yeah,
they will rework on the financial for the previous year to make it comparable in the current year.
correct.
So is
Possible,
it
possible,
that the reason? Because that is what I'm
possible.
visibling, because you're mentioning that they have sold it in April 19. So since in April 19 it was a material change which has happened. So when they came up on 31st March 2019 financials, they may have
Perfect, sir.
reworked the
Correct.
2018.
I agree, sir. That could have happened. That could have happened.
Because when we look into 2018 balance sheet, probably it will show a bigger turnover, uh, because that time there was no sale. In
Right.
2019, when they came up with the financial, they reworked the 2018 to make it comparable.
Correct, sir. Correct. Your point is correctly valid, sir. Even you can see in 2018 also that has happened. Means it was rising only.
Yeah, because that time the unit was not sold. That's the reason they
Right.
don't want to make it
Agree.
comparable.
Agree.
Yeah.
Correct. Agree. That is the only thing. But because of that, you can see this numbers.
So,
Obviously, it was rising.
so you will see two different financials for 2018, because one,
2018,
when they
right?
published 2018 financial and when they published
Correct.
2019 financial, they made it comparable in 2019 and
Yeah, but
reduce the
that should be mentioned as a footnote. No.
yeah, that should appear in 2019 financial, that since they have sold off the business, they have reworked the financial and
Right.
got
That's
it
what.
done.
That's what. Otherwise, you can see this is very good picture. You can see the chart spark line.
Yeah, so that should have been there, because unless you have that disclosure, probably
You can
and
see the
this is a material
sales
disclosure.
is, and you can see sales is rising like anything.
That
Every year.
is so. Are we talking about the financials? What was there for which they have sold? The business what they have sold?
That was done in 2019. So I have not worked out, gone in detail of that.
Okay.
Right?
But here, if I think this Prabha Dairy case is having some issue because SEBI had ordered for
Yes,
forensic
sir.
audit of 19
Same
and
thing.
20.
Yeah, 18, 19, sir. They have
That
asked for because basically
yeah,
what
yeah.
has happened here, basically they have done some sudden expenses of around 388 crores something,
Satya, that's
483
what
crores.
that's what I had indicated also. See, you whenever you come up with you have in mind that you're coming up with an IPO, you try to look everything green, green, green. Okay, so then suddenly you realize that okay, fine, that money has come and my goal has I have got whatever I wanted. I got it. Then you can also show the clear picture. So you no more, you don't need to do the window dressing. So that can be, from when you think of from
Right?
the auditor side, you can think of. But for that, you need to go to these, go back to the earlier years financial thing, not only 2016, 17. You have to check from earlier days. I
Beginning.
think 2010, and you have to see the trend also. How is the trend? And whether this trend is only, the sales are good only as on 31st March, or is it quarterly also? Whether people are, this trend is quarterly September or June, there is a net sales also good. So that by going through that, you may get some idea. Otherwise, it's like
Yeah. Correct, sir. IPO came in 2016.
But
Chali,
here,
sir, I'll rest here, sir. I'll suggest I'll rest here because another panelist is waiting for the discussion.
Yeah, Satya, it will be good if you can stay over and understand
Yeah.
few other questions, which will be like we this is basically an open. Anyone can discuss on any point. Yeah.
Okay. Because another panelist was there, sir, I think, right, sir?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Satya, for this enlightened session. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
So, Ajay?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, hi Ajay. It will be
Yeah, I'll
good if
get
you
the
can speak.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And I have got my video also on. I'm not sure whether it is visible.
Visible,
Yeah, we
sir.
can see you, sir.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah,
it's gone.
you just, yeah. So I'll make you like you have anything to present, sir? Ajay, you are on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, yeah. And so basically, I will not take more than 10 minutes. I don't have a presentation, but I just wanted to share my views. My presentation will be ready in next 1 or 2 weeks. So maybe we can have a chat on this at length. So I just want to draw attention on the current market and how people have been working and how people see this market. And the two things which are really fascinating is that we are still in the year of COVID, and we are also on a lifetime high in terms of index. So two different things are happening simultaneously, and which logically may not convey most of the investors. But I have some reasons for that, and which I wanted to just share. So one question, can you hear me now, right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. So basically, there are two things which you need to know is about the liquidity and about the fundamental. If you look at the liquidity part, there is a very simple tool or a kind of what I call as in the old way, the formula 44 for all the central government, that anything happens worldwide, any bubble happens, any calamity like COVID happens or housing things happen, I think they just go for a reduction in interest and liquidity injections. So this time also the same thing has happened. And in US, the injection is more than $3 trillion, and they are still going to add another $1.5 trillion. So, and Europe also almost $1.5 trillion are sanctioned. So yesterday somebody just sent me a message that every hour in the world, $4 billion are infused in the market. So they buy bonds, they buy junk bonds also, they buy equities also, they buy gold also. So I think a lot of investments are coming in all kind of assets. All asset class are being invested right now. Now with this kind of a liquidity, some of them can also come to India. Hello. So with this kind of a liquidity, I can see even some money coming to India also. And that is what precisely has happened in the month of November, that we have 50,000 crores of money coming in till now. Of course, the month has ended now. So 50,000 crores of FII money coming in, some money of outflow from the domestic. But I see domestic, there are two things, domestic mutual fund and there are domestic insurance company. I believe most of the sale is happening from the LICs and GICs. So domestic is either, mutual fund is either neutral to little negative, but maybe GIC and LIC is giving that liquidity. So I believe this flow of global liquidity is likely to continue for another 2-3 months at least. And I believe this kind of situation will mean that there will be more money, or there will be in fact dumb money, money that will chase. Sometimes you feel without logic this money has come to this company and this might happen. So your logic may not work, but the market will continue. That is basically on one side I feel about the liquidity. Second, I think on the liquidity front is that what's happening uh, is on the GDP side. So if you look at the GDP, I think our GDP was 23% down in one quarter, first quarter. Second quarter, it is some 7-8% down. If you look at the GDP classic numbering, it's basically just a growth. It is not an absolute number. It's just a growth. So if you extrapolate, then this GDP for FY21 will not be more than 7% decline. So it will be somewhere in 5 to 7% of a decline. And if you put it on an index, so that means if I take a 7% decline, and if I take FY20 GDP as 100, this has become 93 in 21. And FY22 earlier was supposed to be at least 110. But even if I don't consider that 110 pre-COVID, even if I consider 101 or 102, the GDP for FY22 will be at least around 8 to 10% growth. And that is where I think market will cheer up. So for market, liquidity is there. So, at certain point of time, you were looking at FY21 numbers. Now we are almost in December. So people will start looking at 22. And in 22, GDP numbers are going to be at least 8%. 8 to 10% means I think most of the people will start talking big about this somewhere in the month of March. So if you look at Moody's or if you look at World Bank, everybody will start, slowly upgrading their numbers. They do it slowly and step by step. But if you do some statistical, extrapolation, it will be around 8% GDP, which is good enough. Second thing, even on the ground also, I can see that our basically GST numbers are also going great. So it is more than 1 lakh crores and is likely to continue. What has happened in this whole thing is that unorganized sectors have lost the market share, and the larger guys, the larger companies have got the benefit of it. Similarly, a lot of digitalization marketing is happening. So a lot of online platforms are getting gains, and the offline are getting impacted. So today, if you see Amazon getting billions of dollars on their Diwali sales, while if you go to any malls, I think you will find less customers. So that is the current situation. But I believe on the economy side, since we are looking at only listed companies, the larger companies are getting benefit. And if you see the index also, when index went up to say 13,000, obviously it has gone up on only 10 to 15 companies. So I think 3 months back, government has tried to give some reclassification for the multi-cap funds, so that they can also invest equally in small caps and also in mid caps, and just not in large cap. Because if we just invest in large cap, then actually we are creating a bubble. We are creating a bubble in the large cap, which is not good. And the government also wants to have an inclusive growth. So I think to that end, there has been some circular happening since this week, that the additional margins for B group will be withdrawn. If this happens, then I think a lot of changes will happen next week onwards, where I feel non-FNO stocks will start moving up. So maybe the rally will not be only limited up to top 100, but it may go up to say top 200, 300, sort of a range. At the same time, there is a circular on FNO margins also. So they've introduced a concept called peak margin. So during a day, whatever peak trading that you have done, on that only you have to pay margin, and not on your end of the day, settled position. I'll just give you an example. you an example that suppose you have bought 10 contracts in a day, and at the end of the day, you have just you have closed your 8 contracts and you are outstanding only 2 contracts. So margin earlier was on 2 contracts only. Now onwards, margin will be on 10 contracts. But this particular FNO margin, peak margin will come in phases. So I think these two changes, withdrawal of margin on B group and additional margin on peak margins, I think will change the entire, landscape. I think people will start working on the B group also. So I believe as far as the market is concerned, people will say we are at a 43,000 range and very difficult to sustain. Yes, I think range will be, when you talk about 13,000 range on Nifty, and it will be little difficult to now move up. But if you look at the different index like mid cap index or BSE 500, Nifty, NSE 500, I think mid caps will do better. And I believe the momentum will continue to go on the companies which are having a positive cash flow, positive net cash flow, and good ROEs and good management. So I believe you should look at companies with a market cap of maybe 5,000 crores or 10,000 crores. And that is where I think most of the money is going to be made now. I feel as far as the individual stocks are concerned, I think individual stocks, I may not take it in this session. Anyway, we got an extended session for the last, today. So I believe that I'll take it in the maybe next week or maybe a week after that. But I believe people should not get worried about, there'll be a lot of news that, there'll be a lot of people who will be overcautious. So I think overcautiousness is really accepted. But don't try to book your profit on this. Don't exit the market. I believe you may not put new money. You may move from one stock to the other, but don't just exit the money, exit the market and put money again in your bank accounts. So that's the small thing that I just wanted to share with you.
So Ajay,
Anybody else got a question?
People are talking about 15,000 Nifty. What are your views?
I think 15,000 will come, but which year I don't know. But
possible.
It is possible. Like I was talking about, you can ask Manoj. I was talking about lifetime high by end of March, March 21, and this was I think somewhere in September or no, somewhere in July. But it has happened so early. So believe. I mean, you believe in your portfolio, then the index. I think index is, unless you are owning index, I think you should not worry about whether it will be 13,000 or 15,000. So I think this year you may not see index going up to that great level because of certain fundamental change will happen in the buying pattern. But you see your portfolio, I think your portfolio will definitely grow by 15 to 30% minimum. That is what I expect. Since all of us are chartered accountants, we are all knowledgeable guys. So I think we can do our pick and choose. We can do analysis, and definitely 20 to 30% return is nowhere to be. Is the minimum that one should get. But sustainability of your company selection would be very important. And the sectors which I like most. Earlier, I think it was BFSI, which was having almost 35% of share. And then BFSI lost its charm post ILFS issue. And it went down. And now it's recovering. So I believe we should take certain good banks like maybe on the top side, you can take Bandhan Bank or IndusInd Bank or Axis Bank. And maybe some NBFCs like Bajaj Finance or Manappuram Finance kind of a thing. But I believe that sector, BFSI should do well, specialty chemicals should do well, pharmaceuticals should do well, and some of the regular old economy stocks like cement should do well. And yes, IT also, wherever you see product companies, IT, actually there are very few listed product companies in India, like I would say Intellect Design and all. So I think these are the companies which I recommend people to buy. But of course, with a disclaimer that you should do your own analysis. So your own entry point is very important. This is a, this is, I would not disagree that this is an overheated market. This is an overheated market. So look out for, picks where you have some value. So, sometimes when there is a correction, so you enter when there is a correction and all. So
What is a correction what will be the correction you say? Like a fall of 5% or a fall of 2.5% is the correction, or do you see a lower base of?
see, on a 13,000, 10% is 1,300. So, 650 points is bare minimum. So 5 to 10%, I would say 10% would be a very severe correction, but it will last for a short time only. So there are buyers actually. There are a lot of buyers at lower levels. So I think a correction would mean that more number of people will come, and this time around, uh, ETFs are coming big time in India. So they are all passive funds. So for them, some correction and that particular, their algorithms will definitely allow them to enter in big way. At the same time, this time, one more thing has happened is there are a lot of direct individual investors who have invested in the market. They have stopped investing in SIP, or they have reduced their exposure to SIP. This, I think, is a good thing for short term, but may not be good thing for long term, because individuals definitely have always have a, they are biased minds. They go by rumors, and the professional touch of funds are definitely missing. But yes, short term they will definitely make money.
So what you say, I mean, the liquidity has come in the market. So the liquidity was for, supposed to for specific areas like NBFCs or MSMEs, and
Right.
now it has been diverted to stock market. So
Right.
now it has gone up to reach the 13,100 level.
Right.
Now the reality will come up soon. I mean, within this quarter, suppose the GDP growth has come down, or recently I think something has come up yesterday or day before yesterday that.
Right.
So now what do you think? I mean, this will come down again the market, because now the exact liquidity has not reached the targeted area.
Right.
So
So I tell you, as far as the liquidity is concerned, uh, since you are also looking at liquidity with the, index only, nobody goes down to see what's happening on the ground level. So ground level, there are businessmen, small businessmen are suffering big time. I would say there is a big disparity between the guys in the capital market and those who are into the manufacturing sector. So this disparity is also due to, one is, maybe capital market got, people got saved because they basically don't have to go down to the, factories and work. And second is, I think from the manufacturing side also and the trading side also, a lot of automation is coming, a lot of changes in the business structures are happening. So, individual businessmen will have to now be a part of a platform in their individual segment, so their respective segment. So I think there is a great change. Now that great change is not going to, again come back to the original levels post the vaccination and all. I think even after post the vaccination, these changes are permanent. Most of the changes are permanent. So you need to align the businesses. So I think you have to now look at different ways to companies, their growth, their valuation models, everything is likely to change at least for some time. So when I say sometime, I would say maybe year, maybe 2 years. And today, Again, in 2000, I saw, dot-com boom was there when people used to just go left, right, and center buy, internet stocks and IT stocks. Uh, Here, there is a change that a lot of platforms and automation and digital businesses will be given valuation. So you may find, companies like SBI, which most of the people take it as PSU, so not much of price to book valuation is given, but they may try to, hive off their spin off their business called Yono. Yono is their digital platform, which could have a very large valuations. So those kind of things, spin-offs and mergers and all things will happen, and it will be definitely towards the larger companies. I'm talking about the listed companies, say BSE 500 companies who will be benefited. As far as the ground level is concerned, it will definitely take time, and they will also have to re-educate themselves on how to do business. I'm sorry to say that, but many of my friends are from chemical market in Kalba Devi and or maybe medical market, Dawa Bazaar and all. But right now they are stretched in terms of not having opportunity, and second, not having the trust on their own customers. So actually the working capital cycle is also getting very stretched. So I think this is just a beginning. According to me, we are going for a new change where I think only the large platforms or digital companies will survive, and everybody has to either become a part of this, or one level of, maybe there are 4 or 5 level of intermediaries, chain of intermediaries, from manufacturer and say from farmer to household. I think 1 or 2 intermediaries will get eliminated because of this automation, digitalization, and all that. So I think there's going to be a lot of change. Now, whether COVID is the reason, I think COVID has just accelerated the whole thing. Otherwise, it was to come in next 3 to 4 years. Today, it has come a little earlier. So one more thing about the market also, market is looking at very positively on vaccinations. But I think after 2-3 months, you will realize that vaccine itself may not be that effective, or we still don't know when it will come, what kind of duration it will have, what kind of effect it will have. So what kind of frequency you will need, whether you will need every 2 year, 5 year, and all. And yesterday somebody told me, and it was right also, that vaccination will only keep you immunized, but you can still be a transmitter of the disease. So vaccine is just for you. So this whole thing, COVID thing, the protocols, mask and all, may last for next 3 years. So I think life will change, maybe more from the permanent side than for the, it's not a temporary phenomenon. So we have to take the protocols. We have to accept it. Luckily, again, chartered accountants are also happy because we can do at least work on computer environment. So from that angle, I feel we should be doing well.
Is there any question? Pramod, you want to speak something? It will be good if we hear from you, something from you. Okay, any other question anyone has?
Very good.
Sorry, Pramod. Yeah.
Yeah, very good insight given by Ajay Bhai, and I think it's really great to have him here. And I personally agree with him because as he rightly given the example of the GIC and LIC's selling and all, and this thing. So yes, the biggest problem which insurance companies per se is facing in this particular market, the debt market has become very, very, very costly, and so because the earnings is not good, and you don't get a good paper which you want to buy and all, and that is why that the OMO which has been bought by RBI, you see it's, and a long-term paper which has come. That is really insurance company is looking for. And if the market be sustained like this, then definitely if you see the balance sheets and the profit and loss of the insurance companies, where they post approximately 7.5% of the return, and even if some of the companies with the better management, um, so with some of the companies being better managed, they post around 8% of the return on the investment book AUM. So now I believe if that will be the case, then in the going forward in the next financial year 21-22, there will be a huge pressure on profitability on insurance companies, because most probably the returns for the fresh accruals or the fresh investment book which will be flowing from the premium book, that will see around 5 to 5.5% or a maximum 6% returns. So the 2% dent on the fresh investments, and normally we believe that from an industry point of view, if it is a 2 lakh crore industry, then approximately 25% of this particular amount and comes for a general insurance company comes in the investment book in AUM, minimum 25%, so around 50,000 crore. And if we look at it life insurance company, then it's a huge amount, because there most of the funds move to the investment book. So if the returns will be like that, then definitely there will be a P&L dent for the insurance companies. And I fully agree that around 5 to 10%, what Ajay bhai said, is the maximum which market can correct. And after correction, it will not sustain there. It will come back to the present levels only. So stay invested. I think even if in last 1 week, 10 days, we are seeing gold prices is also getting corrected, and because of that, it might be it's good to have a sovereign gold bonds also, if somebody wants to invest in the gold, which basically we normally the Indian mentality says that yes, it is a good investment to invest. So, but yes, gold bonds also, I think it's a good investment, and currently it's getting discounted. So when the government launched it, it was around 5,200 or 5,300. Now it's around 4,790 or 480, 4,800. So I think that is also a good buy, I believe. Thank you, Aditya.
Yeah, and there was a basically again people used to play on Biden's victory as market to fall, but I believe I have seen I think at least I must have seen 8 elections and so many changes. I have seen one thing in Americans, they are all capitalists, and everybody wants, they are all positively biased towards basically bull market. So nobody dares to, go against the common or say popular wisdom. So there also, I don't think Fed will try to increase the rate till 23. So I think if I said 4 months of liquidity, I think it can continue more also. There'll be always blips, but that blips are going to be good for it's a good buying opportunity.
So, Ajay, there is a question someone posted. You have already answered, but what is your advice to mutual fund and SIP in for small investors?
See, for small investors, SIP as a concept has been the best. I have experience. I personally have a good SIP. SIP could be you give it to a mutual fund, or you do SIP on your own as an individual investor. So instead of giving to say X mutual fund, you can put it in your own also. But a regular investment, it's like we had a earlier cumulative scheme. So every month, when I was a child, I used to put 500 rupees in my bank account every month. So that is the way we used to play. Same thing you should do. And but when you do a SIP in a mutual fund, see, today a lot of information is available on money control, and so many portals are there. So be little vigilant. What I suggest is at least every quarter you try to evaluate yourself that whether that guy, the mutual fund in which you have invested, whether they have performed or outperformed against the other, and excluding the switch cost. Suppose there is a switch cost, then whether it is possible to switch from one scheme to the other, because you need to be at least vigilant about where your money is being invested by those fund managers, because it is finally the SIP shareholders or SIP investor who will give them the message that people need to actually outperform. So if
So
some fund is not doing it, then it is better that we also take a proper action.
So Ajay, I want to share one experience. So like when suppose 1 year ago, I picked up few mutual fund and they were rated 5 star by few
Right,
rating agencies. And
right,
in 1 year, what I realized that the rating has gone down to 3 and 2. So
right,
like in that situation, what happens? Like that other funds have performed well in last 1 year, but
right,
there is an exit cost involved there. So
right.
what is what? So you are trying to say that we follow that, we track that, and then whenever we see that that has been rated downgrade or the return is not sufficient, we should exit that and move into the other one which is performing.
I think, see, rating will be good to choose a fund. Okay, so there is a for fund also there is a lot of marketing backup. So if you see, out of say 45 mutual funds, there are top 10 funds that we should look at, and out of those 10 funds, most of them are in category one in in one or the other classification. So it's basically it's like everybody is number one. Now what you should do, according to me, the best is I will be taking my self interest the day I invest. Suppose I invest something at 10 rupees of NAV, whether from that date that particular fund has given, as compared to others, a better return or not. So it is, so somebody will say last 10 years I have made 15%, but last 2 years I have not. Now suppose you go into that kind of a fund, it is good for long term, but maybe you will lose in the 21 and 22 when the most of the people are making money. You will feel I'm getting lost out. So I think your best criteria is the date you do it and the price at which you do it. From that date, you make every quarter analysis that okay, मेरा 10 रुपए का, whether it has gone to 11 or whether it's gone to 12 or it has gone to 9 rupees.
So
That is the
there's
best criteria for you.
so in that situation, probably the best suggestion will be you stop the SIP with that and start with someone else, or you
I
exit
think there are a
that
lot of options. There are a lot of options.
because there's an exit load.
Right, right. There is an, that's what they have done. No? There is an exit load. So that's what I say. Okay, you have to, sometimes we do not take a good decision because there is a stop. That stop is nothing but exit load. Exit load keeps you always under your mind that okay, I have to pay 1%. But sometimes that 1% is what you call in normal Hindi is अक्कल का पैसा है. अक्कल खाते पे उधार डाल दो. Suppose you made a mistake, at least don't make a mistake in future. Otherwise, for that 1% or 2%, you'll be stuck with that fund forever.
Yeah, so maybe marginally I'll lose. So I have
Yeah,
to.
margin. It's a part of your cost, your switch cost.
Yeah, so we need to just consider the arbitration factor to
True,
that.
very true, very true. And you can also distribute it. So instead of going to one, you can go to at least 3 to 5 funds. Within that also, you can have a multi-cap and a large cap and a mid-cap kind of a thing. So I think there are lots of things. In fact, I have heard that SEBI is soon going to consider some switch within the fund as free of the cost. So there is no switch cost from a mid cap to a multi cap in a individual fund only. Then that also will help us. So those kind of things are going to come. A regulator is watching everything.
Yeah, one question from my side. Is this rally for pharma sector is over, or I mean, with this vaccine and all is coming out, so or still there will be a rally for that pharma sector companies?
See, I believe on the only on the vaccine side, if you look at 7 billion of population and you take at least 2 doses, For the first time, I believe there will be 2 doses, one individual and first, and then there will be a booster dose. So you have 14 billion of doses, and Pfizer or Astra don't have capacity to manufacture so much, and they need to reach to every individual on the earth, at least to the developed countries. And I believe that India will be the hub. India is the hub. India does 70% of generics in US, and we also have a good facilities here. So there will be out licensing agreements. Fortunately, Astra and Pfizer are also having listed companies in India. So in India, for Indians, for Indian pharma companies, there will be a lot of work. And this is just, I'm talking about, we still don't know. The uncertainty is so much that we only know, okay, dose will come and there will be 2 doses, but we don't know what will be the repetition, whether it will be permanent solution, or there will be, you have to take it every 3 years and all. Besides the vaccine thing, because of this virus, I think the whole world has become more health conscious. So in that case, protocols will change for everything, especially in the healthcare and pharma, who are the direct beneficiaries of it. So I think pharma companies will definitely do well. Now within that, if you look at some of the companies are already having 20 to 22 times, 25 times multiples, forward multiples. So maybe you feel that larger companies are already, having a higher price to earning. But I think they are more dependable, because if US wants to give some work, then maybe they will give it to maybe Cadila, or they will give it to Lupin, or maybe they will give it to Sun Pharma and all. The small companies, I think small API companies will also play a very big role. So I believe pharma, I think my spending, if you consider last 5 years, just do your statistics, your family spent on pharma, including the testing, must have gone up at least 3 times. So you just imagine what's going to happen. So I think the whole world is changing. India also will change. So we'll have a local demand also big, and internationally also people are becoming more cautious. And I think pharma will do well. But don't expect the moon. Expect 20-25% of compounding. So even if you take 15 to 20% compounding return, I think it's more than enough.
Okay.
That should be the expectation.
Thank you. And one more question. I mean, if
just to add to Pramod sir, Ajay sir, our population also, from the different perspective, population is now aging. Currently, it is young.
Right.
Down the line, 5 to 10, 15 years, it will be aging.
Right.
Aging population, again, that will need the more medicines.
Right. Yeah.
So if you look at from that perspective also, pharma is the long-term bet, very positively.
Actually, it lost this shine maybe 5 years for last several years. It lost its shine, but I think it's coming back.
Yeah. So one more question. I mean, if see, if you see, I mean, the rate of gold and the stock market are mostly inversely proportional. So how do whether are you optimistic about the gold rate, or you think, I mean, it's already given a sign that it's coming down? I mean, so.
Yeah, I think gold is dependent on a lot of functions, but one of the function is the US dollar. And if you look at how US dollar behaves, it behaves on how the US economy moves in. So according to me, if US is going to do well next year, I think next year the whole world will do well, because statistically GDP will fall this year, and next year that fall will be made good by next year's GDP growth. So I believe dollar will be, barring these Chinese issues and all, dollar will be stable to positive. So it will either will be neutral or it will be appreciating. See, if that be the case, then gold should not move up. But the liquidity of maybe around $5 trillion, which is going to come or which is there, that will keep gold also going up. Because if I'm an asset manager and I want to allocate, suppose I got $1 billion, at least I'll put 50 million in gold. So that demand will always keep it little, so it will not fall. but do not expect very large unless something happens in some geopolitical issue comes and all. So watch for those events.
Okay,
I
that's
believe
very
as
clear.
of now, I don't see very large, appreciation.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr.
Yeah.
Ajay, and thank you, Mr. Pramod, also for
Thanks
such
a
a
lot.
wonderful insight.
Yeah, I if there's any further question, otherwise we are just over time. Thanks everyone for the participation. This is really great event, and we had a lot of understanding, and some doubts were really interesting for the interest of all. Thanks so much, Ajay ji, Pramod ji, for your updates on the market. Thanks again, Satya, for the entire presentation and the talk what you had. That was really great.
Thank you.
So we close for the day. Thanks again.
Yeah.
Thanks to all of you, sir.
Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot.
Thank you
Bye.
so much,
Great
Mr.
session.
Satyaprakash.
Very great. Very
Thank you
good
so much.
session. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
What is
Thank
next
you.
now? Next time?
We'll schedule something and we'll share the information with you. And everyone is welcome to ask any questions. We always prefer that this is an interactive session. And thanks, Devrata, because that was really good that you have been asking questions, which made this session more interesting.
Okay,
So
thank you
will
so
this be
much.
every Saturday? Is this every Saturday?
That is what we plan, in unless we have any Saturday which we look forward to skip, considering we may have Christmas weekend, so
Yeah.
probably we may discourage that day. Otherwise, we look forward to have sessions until March.
Yeah, one more suggestion. I mean, it's a request kind of thing. So, can we have a group actually? If some of us are there, I mean, there. So, if WhatsApp group or something where we
I will
So
add
can.
we,
you, sir.
so
I will add you.
yeah, so that will be great. Satya, if you can add him to one of the group, or maybe you can just reach out to any of the person. Yeah, Satya, you can share his number. I'll add him to the group.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much. It was great
Thank you.
session. Thanks. Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dushyant.
Can you please also add me in the group?
Thank you, everyone. The session was actually very good and insightful.
Yeah. Somebody said that to add him into
This
the
is
group.
Madhav. Yeah. Madhav.
Hi, Madhav.
How do I reach it?
Do you know Satya or anyone else? Like, how did you reach here? So accordingly, I'll add it to you.
Yeah. One of my friend forwarded me the link and I registered today.
Okay. So
So
maybe
shall I put my number here?
yeah, that will be fine. Or like you can ping me. My number is 99300.
Yes.
99300 You can just send me your detail and I can just
817.
yeah.
99900.
No, 99300.
Oh, 99300 and
17.
1781.
Correct.
17817.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. Great. Super.
Yeah. Thanks.
Bye.
Sir, I had a different view on the mutual funds which were discussed. Next time we can discuss that.
Yeah, that will be good, Dinesh.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And I do it, and I benefit from it tremendously from my idea that I do for mutual funds.
So Dinesh, in case you want to do something, you can just connect with me or Manoj or anyone. We
Yeah,
can we can in fact have a session from you for maybe whatever time you're comfortable.
I wanted to also discuss the Z score, Z score. Morgan
Okay.
Stanley uses.
Okay.
Morgan
So
Stanley uses Z score for its investments.
so Dinesh, are you part of any of the group or Manoj? Are you know
Manoj knows
Manoj?
me. Manoj knows me very well.
Yeah. So we'll schedule something with you.
Please,
Yeah.
please, okay.
That
Thank you
will be
very much.
great.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Because literature and business which are local से तो क्या हमारे तो चीज़ नहीं થોડું ટ્રેડિંગ કરવું ને તો તને મારું દઈ શકું. શું ખાઈશ તું?
Sandeep, you will have to end the meeting.
Aditya, I think we have to end the meeting. Aditya, you're on mute.
Yeah, I'll ask Sandeep to end the meeting.
Yeah.
Because,
So that it will automatically get.
Yeah.
I'm exiting. Huh?
Yeah, sure.
Bye.
I said.
जो टैबलेट करो क्या तो शेड्यूल मंडे जो गए
I'll request everyone to just exit the meeting. That will be helpful. Yeah. There's some problem happening with Sandeep's connection. So we are unable to end it from our end. So you can just disconnect and the meeting will end. Thank you so